Hello everybody, and welcome to the second video in my aim training starter mini-series. If you didn't catch the first video, how to start aim training in 2026, if you are a new aim trainer, I highly recommend that you go watch that one first. It is linked here and in the description. And in today's video, I will be presenting my top 5 updated aim training tips for beginners, mirroring one of my oldest videos on aim training. Tip number 1. Take breaks. Use mental resets and sleep on things. One of the biggest mistakes that I would often make in the early days of my aim training journey was not pacing myself realistically and comfortably. I would want scores really badly, so I would just sit and farm for hours on the same scenario. Years of impatient improvement would cost me later on in regards to wrist health, and even better, if I took a break from the scenario and played something else, or even just got off and slept on it, I would very easily PB the next day. Why is this the case? Because sleeping promotes deeper learning by consolidating memories and reorganizing the information gained from recently experienced problems. Also, most of the time when grinding, your wrist just needs a physical refresh. So set a timer or schedule breaks in between your aim training grind sessions so each run that you play has equal chances in terms of your physical and mental condition of being that PB run. Tip 2. Learn tension management. Over the past 3 or so years, tension has become the key talking point when it comes to anything aiming related. This is a very lengthy topic and there's a lot you can learn, but what you need to understand first is that when it comes to aiming technique, your tension management or lack thereof should be at the very top of your list of things to improve upon once you start aim training. See Viscos's video on this, it's a really amazing resource. Basically, tension has been misunderstood for a long time, and many players still believe that the best way to aim without shakiness is simply by using the lowest amount of tension possible. The problem with this is that you need tension to properly stabilize your tracking and maintain the speed with your adjustments. So it's not just as simple as reducing your net tension usage. And when you consider the different muscle groups and how to allocate tension between each one, wrist, fingertips, and forearm, it can become a pretty complex problem to solve, one that changes for each scenario. This tip is perhaps the biggest one that you should take away from this video. Viscos's video and all of my videos where I reference tension management are linked in the description. The third tip is actually the same as in the original tips video. Train all aiming categories. It sometimes disappoints me when I see very highly skilled and knowledgeable players pigeonholing themselves and one-tricking singular categories. The whole idea that supports being a well-rounded aimer is that the aiming categories functionally blend into each other. For example, they can just transfer equal skills. Many control scenario movement types have been adapted to evasive switching, such as tam target switch control. They can also train universal skills, like movement reading. Multi-target reading and dynamic clicking can bleed over into speed switching to help you prioritize targets better. If you're going into aim training with the idea that you aren't really going to branch out and explore other parts of this skill set, I strongly encourage you to reconsider. Fourth tip. Never overthink peripherals or internal factors. The longer you are messing around trying to find the right mouse grip, hand placement, or mouse shape, the more time you're spending not actually aiming and not actually learning about technique. This has to do with having an internal versus external focus of attention. When you have an internal focus of attention, that means that you are focusing on your specific hand movements and things related to peripheral decisions like monitor distance or sitting posture. While these things can be important, it's a waste of time to overthink them, and you should instead have an external focus of attention where you are paying attention to the desired outcome on your screen, i.e., proper aiming technique. The best aimers are not the ones who have min-maxed peripheral decisions, but the ones who have min-maxed their aiming knowledge and form with deliberate practice. And the fifth and final tip for this video is to manage your wrist health. Waving this off early and not tending to my physical condition during my aiming journey nearly cost me my career. Do your wrist stretches. Buy a light dumbbell and start doing wrist curls. Trust me, this helps both your longevity in terms of how many years you've got in you to grind aim trainers, and your direct performance in terms of hand strength and tension management. 1HP is the best place you can go to find resources for maintaining wrist health as an avid gamer. It is always better to take steps to prevent issues now rather than deal with them later in your aim journey. So this has been my updated top 5 aim training tips for beginners for 2026. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the 3rd episode of this miniseries, where I will be addressing common issues that people might encounter with their aim training approach and why many players claim that aim trainers do not work for them. Follow my Twitch at twitch.tv/Matty_W for aim training Q&As and even more tips and tricks. As always, happy dot clicking.